The morning sun crept over the historic neighborhood of Brooklyn Heights, bathing the cobblestone streets and stately brownstones in a soft golden glow. Birds chirped melodiously as a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the towering sycamore trees lining the sidewalks. Among the early risers was Keanu Reeves, an internationally renowned actor known not just for his action-packed roles, but also for his humility and grounded demeanor. Today was no ordinary day for him. It marked the start of an intense preparation for his upcoming movie, a film where his co-star was a golden retriever named Buddy. Keanu began his day with a ritual he had grown to cherish, brewing his own coffee in the small but cozy kitchen of his rented townhouse. He sipped the steaming liquid while flipping through the script, his eyes scanning the lines with focused intent. Buddy, his new companion for the film, lay sprawled at his feet, tail wagging lazily as if he could sense the bond forming between them. The movie's plot demanded an authentic connection between the actor and the dog, and Keanu was determined to make it happen. "All right, Buddy. Time for our morning walk," Keanu said, clipping on the leash with practiced ease. The golden retriever leapt to his feet, tail wagging furiously. Together, they stepped out into the crisp morning air. Their walk took them through the tree-lined streets, past bakeries emitting the tantalizing aroma of freshly baked bread, and cafes filled with locals enjoying their first coffee of the day. As they walked, Keanu couldn't help but notice subtle anomalies that hinted at an underlying tension in the otherwise serene neighborhood. A man in a leather jacket leaned against a lamppost, his eyes darting suspiciously toward passers-by. Across the street, a group of bikers loitered outside a bar with a faded sign that read Iron and Ash. Keanu's instinct, honed through years of observing human behavior for his roles, picked up on these details. Still, he shrugged it off, focusing instead on the playful antics of Buddy, who was now tugging at the leash, eager to explore the park ahead. The park was a vibrant mosaic of activity that morning. Children laughed as they chased each other across the grassy expanse. Joggers moved rhythmically along the trails, and dog owners congregated near the designated play area, chatting amicably as their pets frolicked. Keanu tossed a frisbee, watching with amusement as Buddy bounded after it, his golden coat gleaming in the sunlight. The peaceful scene shattered in an instant. Buddy, returning triumphantly with the frisbee, paused abruptly near a park bench. His nose twitched as he sniffed at a discarded piece of meat lying innocuously on the ground. Before Keanu could react, Buddy had gulped it down. Seconds later, the retriever's demeanor changed. His boundless energy gave way to lethargy, and his legs wobbled as he tried to stand. Panic surged through Keanu like a tidal wave. "Buddy, what's wrong?" he asked, kneeling beside the dog. When Buddy collapsed, Keanu's heart sank. Without a moment's hesitation, he scooped the dog into his arms and sprinted out of the park, ignoring the curious stares of onlookers. He found himself at a nearby veterinary clinic, his breath coming in ragged gasps as he burst through the doors. Dr. Harper, a composed woman with years of experience, quickly assessed the situation. "It looks like poisoning," she said grimly, guiding Keanu into the treatment room. Buddy was placed on the examination table, and the vet immediately began administering emergency treatment. Keanu paced the small waiting area, his hands clenched into fists. Memories of his late dog, who had been his loyal companion for years, surfaced unbidden. He couldn't lose Buddy. Not now, not ever. "Please save him," he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. Hours later, as Buddy lay under observation, his breathing shallow but steady, Keanu's thoughts turned to the cause of the incident. Who would leave poisoned meat in a public park? The question gnawed at him relentlessly. A passerby at the park had mentioned seeing someone tossing suspicious items near the benches earlier that morning. The vague description, a group of rough-looking men on motorcycles, reminded Keanu of the bikers he had noticed outside Iron and Ash. Determined to uncover the truth, Keanu reached out to Sheriff Hank Morrison, an old friend and a man he trusted implicitly. Over a cup of coffee in a quiet diner, Keanu recounted the events of the morning. Hank listened intently, his brow furrowing with concern. "If those guys are involved," the sheriff said, "they've crossed a line. Animal cruelty is a serious crime, and I won't stand for it in my town." Together, they formulated a plan. Hank would investigate discreetly, gathering evidence to link the bikers to the incident. Keanu, meanwhile, would stay out of the spotlight to avoid attracting media attention. The stakes were high, but both men were committed to ensuring justice was served. Nightfall brought a tense stillness to Brooklyn Heights. The Iron and Ash Bar, notorious for its unsavory clientele, buzzed with activity. Inside, the air was thick with cigarette smoke and the acrid smell of spilled beer. The bikers lounged around, their laughter boisterous and their demeanor intimidating. Sheriff Hank Morrison entered the bar, his presence immediately silencing the room. "We need to talk," he announced, his voice cutting through the smoky air like a blade. The gang leader, a burly man with a scar running down his cheek, leaned back in his chair, a smirk playing on his lips. "What's this about?" he drawled. At that moment, Keanu stepped into the room. The air grew thick with tension as all eyes turned to the actor. "You poisoned my dog," he said, his voice low and steady, but brimming with restrained anger. The gang leader chuckled mockingly. "All this fuss over a mutt," he sneered. The confrontation escalated as Hank and his team presented evidence linking the gang to the poison meat. The bikers, caught off guard, attempted to deny the allegations, but their defiance crumbled under the weight of the sheriff's authority. By the end of the night, the gang was in handcuffs, their reign of intimidation brought to an end. The next morning, Keanu returned to the veterinary clinic, his heart heavy with worry. Dr. Harper greeted him with a tired but reassuring smile. "He's a fighter," she said. Keanu rushed to Buddy's side, his breath catching in his throat as he saw the dog's eyes flutter open. "Hey, Buddy," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Buddy's tail wagged weakly, a small but significant sign of recovery. Dr. Harper outlined the recovery plan in meticulous detail, emphasizing the importance of medications, a special diet, and plenty of rest. Keanu listened intently, determined to do everything in his power to help Buddy heal. He spent hours by Buddy's side, stroking his fur and whispering words of encouragement. The bond between them, forged in the crucible of adversity, grew stronger with each passing moment. The arrest of the bikers sparked a wave of conversations across Brooklyn Heights. Local news outlets covered the story extensively, highlighting the charges of animal cruelty and the subsequent shutdown of Iron and Ash, a bar long associated with crime and unrest. Neighbors expressed relief at the heightened sense of safety returning to their streets, and petitions began circulating for stricter regulations on park safety and animal welfare. In response, Keanu remained admirably low-key. He refused to give interviews or take credit for his role in the operation. Instead, he quietly supported local animal shelters, donating generously to ensure no other pet owner had to endure a similar ordeal. The attention for him wasn't about personal recognition. It was about driving change. Buddy became something of a local hero. Families visiting the park often stopped to greet the golden retriever, who, despite his ordeal, exuded warmth and trust. It wasn't long before his recovery became a symbol of resilience for the entire neighborhood. Throughout the ordeal, Keanu's professional commitments loomed large. The film, already under tight deadlines, had been paused during Buddy's recovery. Producers worried about the schedule, while fans speculated about delays. However, Keanu's dedication to Buddy left no room for compromise. He informed the production team that he would return only once Buddy was fit enough to resume filming. This decision, while risky, garnered widespread support once the story of Buddy's poisoning became public knowledge. Film crew members, many of whom had formed their own attachments to the dog, rallied behind Keanu's stance. They restructured scenes and rehearsals, accommodating the time needed for Buddy to heal. It was a rare display of unity in an industry often dictated by deadlines. As the weeks passed, Buddy's strength returned. His training resumed under the careful guidance of a professional animal trainer, and the bond he shared with Keanu became even more evident on screen. By the time the cameras rolled again, the pair's chemistry brought a depth to their performances that transcended mere acting. As days turned into weeks, Buddy's strength gradually returned, his energy and playful spirit a testament to his resilience. Keanu found himself reflecting deeply on the events that had transpired. What started as a professional commitment had transformed into a journey of emotional growth, trust, and an unbreakable bond with his canine co-star. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the Brooklyn skyline, Keanu and Buddy would take quiet walks together. These moments of solitude became a sanctuary for Keanu, a chance to clear his mind and focus on the simple joys of life. The golden retriever, once just a partner for the film, had become an integral part of his life, teaching him patience, loyalty, and the healing power of connection. In one particularly poignant moment, Keanu sat on the front steps of his townhouse, watching Buddy chase after a fluttering leaf in the cool evening breeze. "You've taught me more than I ever thought possible, Buddy," he said softly, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. The retriever paused, cocking his head as if understanding the sentiment, before bounding back to Keanu and resting his head on his lap. The bond they shared went beyond words. It was a connection forged in adversity and nurtured through mutual respect and care. For Keanu, Buddy was not just a co-star or a pet, he was family. When production on the movie finally resumed, it was clear that the time Keanu and Buddy had spent together had created a bond that was impossible to fake. Their on-screen chemistry was electric, bringing an authenticity and emotional depth to the story that captivated the entire crew. Scenes that required trust, such as Buddy leaping into Keanu's arms or responding to subtle commands, were executed with seamless precision. The director, who had initially been skeptical about the delay in filming, praised the duo's performance. "It's rare to see this level of connection between an actor and an animal," he remarked during a wrap-up party. The final cut of the movie was met with critical acclaim, with reviewers singling out the heartfelt relationship between Keanu and Buddy as the film's emotional core. At the premiere, audiences were moved to tears as they watched the story unfold. For many, it wasn't just a movie about a man and his dog. It was a tale of resilience, trust, and the power of companionship. Buddy's story struck a chord with animal lovers worldwide, inspiring countless acts of kindness toward pets and strays. With the movie's success behind them, Keanu and Buddy embarked on a new chapter of their lives. Offers for endorsements, interviews, and public appearances poured in, but Keanu approached them with caution. He ensured that Buddy's well-being remained a priority, turning down opportunities that could cause stress for his four-legged friend. Buddy's newfound fame also had a ripple effect. Keanu partnered with animal welfare organizations, using their platform to raise awareness about responsible pet ownership and the importance of rescuing and adopting animals in need. Together, they visited shelters, participated in fundraisers, and even launched a campaign advocating for stricter laws against animal cruelty. For Keanu, the journey with Buddy was more than a professional milestone. It was a personal evolution. He had gained not just a co-star, but a lifelong friend who reminded him of life's simple yet profound joys. As they walked down a quiet path one evening, the glow of the city lights shimmering in the distance, Keanu glanced at Buddy, who trotted happily by his side. "We've been through a lot, haven't we, Buddy?" he mused. The golden retriever barked in agreement, his tail wagging enthusiastically. In that moment, Keanu knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, man and dog, bound by an unshakable bond. And so, their story continued one adventure at a time.